Welcome to the first episode of The Art of Being Alone. Don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for the upcoming parts. Your support means a lot and helps us keep going. Let's begin this journey together. Introduction. When I got the idea to write this book, I decided that I wouldn't write a book full of facts and numbers, but a book that speaks from one heart to another. That's what you need, right? You don't care how many people in the world feel lonely. You care about how you can deal with your loneliness. Well, that's the first problem. Why is loneliness seen as something bad in our society? Why do you dislike being with yourself so much that the time you spend with yourself is now called loneliness, and people think you must fix it with some fast tips and tricks? How can just being with yourself make you feel afraid? Honestly, I have no right to ask these questions. I wasn't kind to myself either. I used to think that something was wrong with me, and that's why people left me. And if I could fix that wrong thing in me, maybe people would stay. But after spending a lot of time alone, learning about who I am and what I think, I found out that I am actually a good person. I like being with myself. And I always did. I always loved being in my room, reading my books, and going to a world in my mind that only I knew about. That always felt like a luxury to me. I looked deeper into my past and tried to understand why I didn't like being alone, and why I tried to make many friends when I never really wanted a big group. I am an introvert, and I enjoy having only a few people around me, people I truly love. I don't enjoy being with people I call friends, but talk badly about behind their backs. But then I had to ask myself again, why did I want the same things that I never liked? And the answer was simple: to be accepted by society. When I was still in high school, there was a girl in my class who was always alone in a class of 150 students. I can't say why no one spoke to her because A, she was from a different section, B, I was new in the school. Still, those same people became my friends. I even had friends from her section, but she, who had been there for a long time, didn't have any friends. I used to see her eating alone, sitting in the last row of the class to hide, and even going to the washroom alone. Funny fact, girls usually prefer not going to the washroom alone, but she always went alone. Even though people made fun of her, most students felt sorry for her too. I remember I once asked a friend about her. I didn't know her name, so I said, "Hey, why does that girl from section A always sit alone?" My friend replied, "I don't know. I've never talked to her either, but she's always been like that since I joined school." Other students say she's a weirdo, like that. This is the answer to why we fear being alone. The fear of loneliness was put into our minds when we were kids. We learned that the kid who eats alone, sits alone, and has no friends is someone to feel sorry for. In every book or movie, the kid who eats alone and has no friends is always shown as weak, someone who needs help. Look at any book or movie and you'll see the same idea about loneliness in all of them. These people are shown as easy targets or as someone you should pity. No one wants to be called a weirdo, and that's why we fear being alone. We don't want people to think we are weird or someone who needs saving or mocking, someone who is not wanted or doesn't fit in with the cool kids. I don't need to explain how much we care about what others think of us. It's our life, but we live by society's rules. In fact, many people don't follow their dreams because they're afraid of what others will say. What if people laugh at them? What if they fail and everyone sees them as a failure? Our lives are full of other people's opinions. The fear of judgment is so deep inside us that we start judging ourselves before anyone else does. David Foster Wallace once said, "You'll stop worrying what others think about you when you realize how seldom they do." It's a bit funny, but your biggest enemy and critic is you. Before anyone else, you know what you're doing. And even before you do it, you judge yourself based on what you think people will think. Look around you. No one's judgment is louder than your own. When I was in college, I didn't have any friends for nearly 5 months. I had a big fight with my friends, and after that, I had no one. While my classmates were having fun with their friends and looked happy, I was alone. I pretended that I didn't care. Even though I talked to classmates and seniors, deep down I knew that I was alone. Everyone else thought I was having fun organizing college events. My juniors looked up to me, and my classmates were jealous, thinking I was enjoying my life. How funny. Do you see the problem? Not a single person thought that I was lonely. Yet I kept thinking, what if they think I'm a loner? For a few weeks, I felt bad for myself. Even though I talked to people, I always found a reason to bring myself down, thinking others must feel sorry for me. But after some time, I realized something. It's not bad to be alone. I learned that we don't really hate being alone. We hate the idea that we've been left behind. And we were taught as children that being left behind is something sad. Well, that's nonsense. Stop feeling sorry for yourself just because you don't have many people to take cute selfies with. Stop thinking you're weird or that something is wrong with you. There's no need to feel lonely or sorry for yourself. Being alone is a normal part of life. It's part of growing up. Your friends and classmates can't stay with you forever. Life moves fast, and everyone is trying to keep up. People leave for good reasons or bad, and life goes on. Some people leave for better jobs. Sometimes you will have to leave people for your own growth. And sometimes people just lose interest in you and find someone else. That's how life works. Can you stop it? Probably not. But you can stop feeling sorry for yourself. Stop thinking that something is wrong with you that needs fixing. Stop trying to change yourself or trying to act perfect. Movies and shows have done a good job of making us believe that being alone is the same as being lonely. Especially now, when on the internet, it looks like everyone has a cute group of friends. Some are going on trips, others post friendship goals photos, and in all that noise, it's easy to feel like you are the only one who's lonely, the only one who wasn't chosen. And that, my friend, is the biggest reason why people treat being alone as something bad, as a problem that must be solved. But the truth is, all of that is just a fake image sold to you. So the first lie you need to stop believing is that being alone means being lonely. And yes, I know it sounds a bit common, but being alone and being lonely are two different things. Being alone is just part of life. But feeling lonely means seeing yourself with pity and sadness. When you look at yourself this way, you feel left out and small. You start thinking there's something wrong with you. That lowers your self-worth. You begin to treat your alone time as a bad thing, and that's loneliness. But that has nothing to do with being alone. It just shows how you see yourself. While I am writing this book, I am all alone. I don't have any friends, not a single person I hang out with, not because I'm weird or sad, but because I never stayed at one school for more than 2 years. So I never had that best friend we see in movies or books, and the few I had are now married or moved to other cities. So where does that leave me? Well, there are two ways to see this. From the outside, people may think I'm a loner. I'm in my 20s, so I should be having fun, going to parties, dressing up, and going on dates every Friday. And since I don't do any of that, maybe I should wrap myself in a blanket, watch Netflix, and feel bad for myself. But the way I see it is different. I stayed in my hometown because I want to focus on my writing career. I live near my parents and can enjoy a cup of coffee with my mother whenever I want. I can focus on being me instead of trying to be like the cool girl image. And most of all, I enjoy my own company now. When I stopped looking at myself through the lens of loneliness, I was able to see my life and the chances around me. Yes, it took time to accept that I'm not having fun like others and I'm alone. But once I accepted it, I could ask myself, okay, what next? I built a life that I enjoy every day. I don't wait for the weekend to have fun with friends. I enjoy each day by doing something new, having new experiences, reading a new book, exploring my city, and doing all the things I always wanted to do, all by myself, without anyone's opinion, without someone interrupting when I'm lost in my thoughts, and without letting anyone tell me if my idea of fun is right or wrong. In a world where being alone is seen as a problem, you should get up and use it as your strength. Taylor Swift once said, "The scary news is you are on your own now, but the cool news is you are on your own now." It's a big lie that being alone means being lonely. No, my friend, that's not true. Being alone doesn't mean you're lonely. Being alone means you are with yourself. I suggest you close this book and take a moment to think about that. Once you are truly okay with the idea that being alone is not bad and can even be good, then you should read more. I have divided the book into 2 parts. Part 1 is about learning how to turn loneliness into peace and quiet time, solitude. Part 2 is about using that quiet time for your own growth. When you learn to love being with yourself, you'll be able to do all those things for yourself that you usually wait for others to do with or for you. Shall we? Part 1. Turning Loneliness into Solitude. Chapter 1. Stop Romanticizing Loneliness. You must have seen those YouTube videos or maybe read books that tell you to romanticize your life, right? Well, I have seen them too. And honestly, just by watching those videos, I would go back into my dream world where I am the queen of the world, at least of my own world. Just by imagining how it would feel to romanticize my life, I would feel an exciting rush inside me, something I can't explain in words. You might be thinking, Renuka, if you love the idea of romanticizing life, then why are you telling me not to believe in it? Well, after trying it out, learning, watching, and reading about this idea of romanticizing life, I understood one thing. Everyone is already doing it. They just don't understand what kind of character they are playing in their story. Sounds confusing? Let me explain how you are already following this idea and why it can be a big problem for your future. But first, let's understand what romanticizing life really means, okay? Romanticizing your life means thinking of yourself as the main character in your life, as if your whole day is being filmed. In simple words, you act like you are in a movie and you are the hero or heroine. But here's the point. Whether we know it or not, we all behave like movie characters. In most movies, the story starts with a girl and a boy. Either the girl is broken and feels lost in sadness, depression, and stress, and often shown as a poor girl, or the same story happens with the boy. Then what? Then the boy enters her life like a hero who saves her from the bad world, gives her hope, teaches her to love, and then falls in love with her. After that, they fight the world together like it was meant to be by destiny. Sounds familiar? If it's not the girl, then the boy is the sad one, and the girl comes as an angel to do the same thing we just talked about. And if it's not a love story, then it's a friendship story. A sad, lost person meets someone and they become best friends forever. Most movies, series, or books follow the same story. One person is sad and the other comes in to help them. I call it good drama. Now here's the problem. People like you and me have been watching, listening to, and reading such stories since we were kids. So deep down, we believe that someday someone will come to save us, help us, or fall in love with us. All through college, I hoped to have a friendship like Joey and Chandler from FRNs, but that never happened. I never had a best friend in school or college, but I always wanted one, the kind we see in movies and shows. Maybe that's why, even though I had many friends around me, I still felt something was missing. But now when I look back with a fresh or grown-up view, I see a little girl wishing to have the same teddy bear she once saw in a movie. So, what's wrong with that? Well, your imagination shapes your real life. And here you are, thinking about how broken you are, and then waiting for some perfect person to come and save you. The problem with this is, you choose to believe that you are not enough to change your own life. You put your hope in someone who doesn't even exist yet. And that's why, when life doesn't happen the way you imagined, you feel even more lonely, as if you had something but lost it. If you have made up an imaginary friend in your mind, thinking they will come into your life for real, I'm telling you, don't fool yourself. No one is coming to save you or make you laugh or travel the world with you like in a movie. Life is not a movie. Let go of these hopes or you'll keep getting hurt. Believing that one day you'll meet perfect friends who will be your soulmates is like digging a graveyard for your dreams. The more you think about meeting such people, the more you'll get hurt. You'll feel even more lonely thinking that something good could have happened, but didn't. You'll feel sad for losing someone who wasn't even real. I'm not saying you won't meet new people or make new friends. I made some good friends after college through Instagram. But the hard truth is, after a certain age, you don't make soul friends. You just meet people, help each other when needed, and stay kind so that you have good people in your circle. As a content creator, I meet many people, but I know deep down that we're all connected mostly for networking. After college, you don't really make friends. You just build connections. You try to be nice so you don't get left out most of the time. But if you start thinking that every nice person you meet is your future best friend, then you're only making false hopes. And believe me, if there's anything more painful than death, it's having fake hopes in your heart and then watching them break you slowly. Instead of thinking of yourself as someone who needs another person, start thinking of yourself as the hero of your own story. A movie like yours hasn't been made yet, and a book like your life hasn't been written yet. That's why you have the power to create your story the way you want. Make it wild, strong, long, and most of all, yours. Don't copy some old story that doesn't give you strength. You don't want to play the role of a victim in your own life. You don't want to see yourself crying for someone you never had. You don't want to make your character weak. Or do you? Chapter 2: The Pain of Hiding Your True Self. The false hope that one day someone will magically come into our life and the fear of looking strange makes us do things we never wanted to do. Since childhood, we have learned that the kid who is alone is strange. They are alone because no one picked them. We don't want to look strange. We don't want others to think no one picked us. So what do? We start acting like the perfect person that everyone likes. We start saying yes to things we don't like. We wear clothes that make us feel uncomfortable or cost too much, but they help us get noticed, accepted, and liked. We say things we think are silly. We say what most people like to hear. We do things that make us look like everyone else so that we don't look strange. We become this perfect version of a happy, sweet person who everyone likes, or at least someone no one laughs at. But slowly, as we become like others, we move away from who we really are. The more we care about what others think of us, the less we care about what we want, what we like, what we think, how we want to live our life, and most importantly, what makes us us. It's like trying to please everyone without even knowing it. The gap between who we really were and who we've become to fit in becomes so big that even we can't recognize ourselves. And this is where loneliness starts. People try to become what others want so they can find people who like them, but they lose their real self. That's why we call time spent alone lonely. Loneliness doesn't mean there's no one around. Loneliness happens when you can't find yourself inside you. When you feel like the real you is lost, that's when loneliness takes place inside you. And that's the worst kind of loneliness. You might be around many people, but still feel lonely. It feels like you can't feel yourself, like you're not even there anymore. And do you know what's even sadder? It all starts when you try to become someone else just to fit in. But in the end, it makes you hate being with yourself. And tell me, how can anyone accept a person who doesn't accept themselves? How can anyone enjoy time with someone who doesn't enjoy being alone with themselves? So, where does that leave you? Nowhere. While trying to get love and acceptance from others, you end up losing yourself. I have spent most of my life trying to be nice to people so that I could be that perfect version. I said yes to going out when I wanted to stay at home and read. I kept smiling and talking when I really wanted to say, I'm tired, or I have work, let's talk later. I even dressed up when I wanted to wear something simple. I did all this just to be what others wanted. But I didn't ask myself, maybe others think I'm ideal, but what about me? What do I think of myself? What are my opinions about me? What do I like or dislike? What are my fears? What are the things I want to do every day, but I don't, because I've learned to ignore my own voice? And I know I'm not alone in this. We are all like this. Since childhood, we have been in a race. Whose child is the cutest or smartest or most talented? Either we try to be perfect for our parents so they feel proud, or we try to look cool so we can be part of the popular group in college. We have been running in this race for so long that our real self couldn't keep up with all the changes. Our real self is now hidden under so many layers of behavior and manners. We do what looks cool instead of what our heart wants. I'm really good at this. I want to learn many new things, but I say I don't have time. Yet if a friend calls to share their problems, I listen to them so they feel supported. What we don't understand is that just like people stop talking to us when we ignore them, our soul also stops talking to us. And one day, when you are alone, with no one to hang out with or take fun pictures with, You find it painful to be with yourself. Why? Because so much of the real you is hidden deep inside that if you sit down to uncover it, it would take years to find yourself again. That's why I say, there are days when you miss yourself more than you've ever missed anyone else. I'm not a psychology expert or a therapist who knows what happens inside the brain, but I am human and I know what goes on in the heart. We are all stuck in the same loop of trying to please others to feel accepted and valued. We ignore our feelings because we think no one has time for them. We don't do what brings us true happiness because we think that's old-fashioned. The weight gets heavier every day. Every day, your real self gets further away. Your image of yourself becomes unclear, and it starts hurting to look inside. I've made these mistakes, and I don't want you to make them too. So in the next few chapters, we will talk about how to become more like your true self and how that will help turn your alone time into solitude.